Well, I've been trying to look into, for the past couple of days or so, sort of the history to alternative medicine. Where did it come from? Where did it start? And I did medicine through time back in secondary school. And I can tell you that the alternative way of treatment has always been there. And one of the things that I have noticed throughout the time, it's always the poor that go to these people. And again, because we don't have accurate records, we don't know how many people died, how many people survived. We just don't know. But unfortunately, I have to say, it comes from America. As do all things. But what from I can see, from when I've looked at things, it seems to be a meeting of, back in, the original days, you had the people from China coming over, and of course they brought their treatments over. Chinese medicine with the herbs, and it didn't take off. But again, it was a lot cheaper than going to being able to afford a doctor. And so, of course, this grows and grows and grows as time moves on. And you get to a point where you get to the 60s. And I can only really identify that, again, it also comes out of the vegetarian movement, particularly the hardcore vegetarian movement that came to be around that time, that comes out and they start saying, oh, you shouldn't put chemicals, any type of chemicals, into your body. And this is continued to this day. So that's my sort of theory, where all this, when you really look at it, there's no really sort of timeline where you can sort of look at it. But when you look at particularly that movement in the 60s, that's where it seems to come from. And again, even now, all the alternative movement does is demonise the pharmaceutical industry. They claim that, an instant cure is not what they want. Well, unfortunately, you're forgetting capitalism. An instant cure and a treatment, not only is it more cost effective, but it saves a lot of money rather than a long-term treatment. A long-term treatment is not cost effective to a consumer or to a hospital. And at the end of the day, those are the buyers. Hence why they are always constantly trying to get it down to that more than one cure. It may not seem like it, because there's sometimes unfortunately there are going to be things in our history, in our biology, which are not going to be solved by that one hit cure. Which again, the alternative treatment people always claim that it's a one hit cure. So, and I get a lot of, all the time from recently, from the video I did on pointing out the halls of dying to have known, I'm constantly getting people saying, oh, but look at the evidence, they're not doing it right. Why are they not doing it right? That's the question. I'm sorry, but a lot of the things that you are saying, if a scientist could show that it's an instant treatment and things like that, it's Nobel Prize worthy. These guys that are doing the kind of things in the treatments, they are not doing it, well, they are doing it for profit, but so are the alternative people as well, even though they're not willing to admit it. But you're talking, say like tomorrow, a scientist comes out, finds a cure for cancer, it's all peer reviewed, it's all done, You know, it's there, it's done. You know, all cancers are now curable with this one tablet. You know, pharmaceutical companies aren't just going to go, oh shit, we have to, you know, cover this up. They're going to go, great, now we can just, all this treatment we've been doing that's been a waste of money, we can now get rid of and now produce this one pill. Because we know that's what people want, we know that's what people will need. Again, the alternative industry does a really good job of demonising the pharmaceutical companies. And yes, a lot of the time, pharmaceutical companies do things wrong. Things do go bad. Again, name me a single company, not even pharmaceutical company, but just a single global multinational company where things go right. Look at the NHS in the UK. You know, people error. People always error. You know, no one is 100% right and accurate. You know, even on the NHS, mistakes are made. It just happens, unfortunately. That's the way life works. And unfortunately, you know, the pharmaceutical companies, unfortunately, bad things happen. They rush a drug out too soon, and unfortunately, there are side effects that they didn't realise because they're the long term, or in initial trials, it didn't come up. Things like that happen. And again, the alternative group will continually rail against, oh, they're not doing it, the test right, you've got to do it this way. No. Why do we have to do it this way? Is it because when you do that way it looks like it works? Rather than when you do it, you know, the scientific way, and you do all the tests and you do the peer review through it, it doesn't work. Because that's what's happening. That's what, when you talk to alternative people and you bring this up, they always say this. That, oh, you know, the scientific method doesn't work. Well, unfortunately, if you know, science is not proving that, you know, your treatment works, then your treatment doesn't work. And someone commented on the Dying to Have Known video, someone said, oh, what about all the survivor testimonials? Well, okay then, what about all the survivor testimonials of people who've gone through all the, you know, drug therapy and chemotherapy treatments that are, you know, cancer-free and survive cancer this day? You know, in fact, here's a good example. A survivor testimony. Michael Moore's Sicko, if you've ever seen it. There's a guy who went through chemotherapy. On there, he survived cancer. You know, that's a perfectly, you know, good survival testimony. You know, why is his survival testimony any different to any of your supposed survival testimonies? At the end of the day, the alternative movement doesn't make sense and can't accept that they are wrong at the end of the day. I'd rather go see a doctor any day of the week than anyone from the alternative movement could recommend. But again, there's another fine example. Again, it's the same person who commented. They're like, oh, nutrition is important. Yes, we know nutrition is important. Hence why there is an entire field, a medical field. Again, there are nutritionists who work for the NHS. So, it comes down to a point of, it's the same thing with conspiracy theories. There's a blind point of it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I will believe what, you know, I have been told by, you know, this type of website, because, you know, from what I look of it, their facts are right. Well, when I look at it and I dig into their facts, they're not right, or they've been misrepresented. There's something really wrong with the alternative movement, and it's a strange thing to look at.